This is key number 5 out of 10 keys to grow your business by 10 times in less than 60 months. In this particular episode, I'm going to talk about how to get rich in your niche and develop predictable systems. Okay? So get ready. You're going to be blown away. So my name's Doug Andrew, and I've been helping business owners, entrepreneurs, now for more than 48 years. I've actually started several businesses myself. I'm primarily a financial strategist and a retirement planning specialist involved in the financial services industry. And years ago, I began to learn a lot of principles that I implemented, and it took me a long learning curve. The purpose of this episode and the other 9 related to it is so that you don't have to go through a long learning curve. You can have a fast power curve. In fact, I wrote a book. I will gift you a copy. I'll show you how to claim your free copy at the end of this episode. And it will show you how to 10 times your practice, whatever you do, whether you're a doctor, dentist, chiropractor, a financial advisor, realtor, CPA, tax attorney, I don't care. How to 10 times your practice in less than 60 months while simplifying your life. Did you get that? Most people think, if I'm going to earn 10 times, I'm going to work 10 times harder. I don't want to do that. No, you simplify your life. As we continue and I show you this, this is contained in a book that I wrote called 10 Keys Transformation. I'll gift you a copy at the end of this episode. And be sure and post a comment, click like, or share with another entrepreneur as I go through and give you this key number 5 that will help you take your practice to 10 times. Now, the actual title that I put in the book under key number 5 is Find Your Unique Niche or Niche. Develop a system. Notice I put that in caps. I'll show you why. Based on predictability. Get ready. I'm going to blow you away with a fun little exercise here. I learned, fortunately, from many good entrepreneurs and mentors that you are only going to get what your system will deliver. And so, unfortunately, most prospecting and marketing systems only deliver about 6% of the potential results they could otherwise achieve. How sad is that? In other words, you got 100 horses under the engine, you're only using 6 horses on the outside. No, you want to use all the power that's within you. So Marshall Thurber, who is one of my mentors, is a systems genius. And he was mentored by Dr. Edwards Deming and Buckminster Fuller. And Dr. Deming was the total quality management engineer that transformed Japan to the quality they put out today in electronics and automobiles. Compared to when I was a kid, anything made in Japan was junk or cheap. And so Dr. Deming talked about creating predictable systems. Now, he was one of Marshall's mentors, and Marshall taught me that 94% of all failures are a result of the system or lack of a system. So for this reason, SYSTEM is an acronym that I've used for years that stands for Save Yourself Time, Energy, Money. Okay? So that's what you want to do with a system. I'm going to show you how powerful Dr. Deming taught this concept to Marshall Thurber. Now, when we talk about getting rich in your niche, you first must identify your market niche or niche. A lot of people think they've got it together. No, you'll learn in the book the questions to ask yourself, and then choose to focus and develop on those market niches, those little things that you're really good at that motivate you and utilize your exceptional expertise or abilities, which is what I covered in key number 4. If you have not watched that episode, you need to subscribe to this channel. It's free, and I post a new video almost on a daily basis. Then you write down the step-by-step process that you normally take a client or a customer through. If you're a mortgage loan originator, if you're a financial advisor, if you're an insurance agent, if you're a CPA, if you're an orthodontist, you all have these methods or systems or processes. And so you divide it up into 4 steps or 6 steps or 8 steps. You could do 10, and I'm going to show you mine here in just a minute. So we all take people through, sort of steps. But this is what I want you to do. Understand that highly successful entrepreneurs always have a unique, profitable process, and they use a system Study them. Effective management of anything in life, in one word, according to Dr. Deming, is predictability. So I'm going to teach you how to do this. He would show the automobile industry how to create predictable quality on the assembly lines at the automobile manufacturers, because back in the 1970s, they didn't have that. And that's why he predicted that they wouldn't be the big three someday. I'm talking about GM, Ford, and Chrysler, and that's why Toyota, Honda, and Nissan, they surpassed the big three in the United States. How sad. Back in the 1970s, there was an article that came out, a consumer report that said if you wanted the best chance of a quality automobile, you would make sure that the automobile was built on a Wednesday. Well, why was that? Well, because people would come to the factories on Monday, and they weren't focused. They would make mistakes, and so they would be lemons. They'd have to be sent back and worked over, whatever. Tuesdays, they were more focused. Mondays, they had hangovers from the weekend and everything. On Wednesday, they were finally in the flow. They were focused. The best cars were built on Wednesdays. Thursdays, they got complacent. They didn't check the quality. The quality went down, and they were getting trunky for the weekend. Fridays, it was all over. So there was this bell curve. When that consumer report came out, what happened? People would go to the dealer and say, what day of the week was this car built? If it wasn't built on a Wednesday, I want a substantial discount, or I don't even want to buy it. Oh my heavens. So people only wanted to buy 1/5 of the cars, the ones that were built on Wednesdays. Deming predicted that because they didn't have predictable quality. I use a little exercise in my live audiences. You can use this too, where you can come up with 85 to 90% the answer you want out of your audience. So play along with me right now. Let's see how good you are with simple math. You can use a cheat sheet if you want. I want you right now to pick a number in your head, or you can write it down, a whole number between 1 and 10. Okay, listen close. Take your number between 1 and 10. You got it? Okay, here we go. Let's say this is your number between 1 and 10. Now I want you to double it. Okay, now you have a new number. Now add 8 to that number. So now you have a new number. Now take that new number, that last number, and divide it in half. Divide by 2. Now subtract the original number you started out with from that last number. Let me review. You picked a number between 1 and 10, you doubled it, you added 8, divided by 2, and subtracted the original number you started out with from that last number. You should have a final number in your head. Take the final number you arrived at after doing that equation, and pick the corresponding letter of the alphabet that last number represents. If your last number ended up being 1, that would be the letter A in the alphabet. Okay, 2 would be B, 3 would be C. If your last number was 4, that would be the letter D, 5 would be E. Okay, have you got your letter? Take that letter of the alphabet and pick a country whose name starts with that letter. Use the American name for that country. Let's choose a country in Europe or the Baltics. There will be one there. This is towards the beginning of the alphabet. A might be Austria, B, Belgium, C, Czech Republic, D, Denmark, E, Estonia or England, F, France, G, Germany, H, Hungary, I, Ireland or Italy or so forth. Okay, have you got your country? Take the country you arrived at and take the last letter in the name of that country and pick a zoo animal that starts with that letter. An animal that's not indigenous to the United States, but you'd probably find in a zoo here. So now you've got a country and a zoo animal that starts with the last letter in the name of the country. Take the last letter in the name of the zoo animal and pick a common fruit whose name starts with that letter. So now you have a country, a zoo animal, and a fruit. I know what 85 to 90% of you watching this video came up with. Denmark, kangaroo, orange. Now, if you didn't, you're unique. If you came up with Denmark, koala, apple, you're unique. But 85 to 90% will come up with Denmark, kangaroo, orange. That is predictability. Now, if you did not get 4 for your final number, you need to brush up on your math. Now, folks, I told you I would show you my unique process. So for years, I would have my clients read books, watch videos, get educated, come to a seminar or a webinar, and they would have this enlightenment experience. And they ended up wanting something they didn't know they wanted until they got educated. I call that the enlightenment experience. Then they would come in for a fact-finding interview, and then I would create some illustrations and plans, and then I would present the proposed plan, and then we would tweak it, and then we would go through a final action blueprint, and we would submit the plan or whatever and begin to go through the implementation, and then we would have annual reviews. When I began to realize Is that my process? Yes, that's what I take all my clients through. I went back and I branducated, my clients from that point forward. Every one of these I've trademarked. This is called the Enlightenment Experience, The true wealth discovery is the fact-finding. Strategic design is preparation of the plan. Success formula, presentation of their plan. Refinement process, tweaking, The action blueprint, the final plan. The implementation experience, that's underwriting, it's getting them approved, applying or whatever. And then the accountability factor is the annual review, where I'm accountable to them, they're accountable to me. But I created and branducated on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and they go, I want to be part of this. You look organized. Now, the last point in this key that I want to emphasize is you got to do something. Deming taught Marshall, and he taught me, that 85% of any successful result you want is determined in the first 15% of the process. So when we go back to the first 15%, it was this one. Key number 4, I began to realize I'm really good at speaking, teaching, recording, writing books. I focused on this one and I delegated all of that. I don't have to do all that. I have other people that are very good at that I point to. They don't know how to educate and speak or record like I do, but I do this. So I come up with the ideas, I find the people, and I point them to the professionals that can help them with the rest of the process, and my income went up by 10 times. This is for real. So that's what I mean by tweaking the first 15% of the process, and it's Denmark Kangaroo Orange. It's very predictable. You refine the introduction, you underpromise, and then you overdeliver. You've heard this before. So folks, in key number 5 in the book, you will answer the questions based upon these 5 statements where you're at. And so if you have never really thought about unique systems or processes that you take your clients through, that's a 1 or a 2. You're not dealing with reality. If you have a general process or system that you take most clients through, now you're getting there a little. You got a 3 or 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. If you have a printed flow chart for your clients and customers where you actually hand it to them and they say, this is what we're going to do. Now they can see it. They take it on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I would laminate it. Now, if you have a 4 to 8 step process that you branducate, you trademark it, now you're getting there. But what's the ultimate? You have a trademark process of predictability, Denmark Kangaroo Orange. You put this much wood in the fire and you get this much BTUs of heat back within 90 days or 180 days. You have predictability, where 85% of the result is determined in the first 15% of the process, and it's like dominoes. They just fall down predictably. Denmark Kangaroo Orange. That's what I want for you. So if this is intriguing you, be sure you subscribe to the channel, but I want to help you get a free copy of this book. And this is what I've invested over $3 million in my life, sharpening my saw. You don't need to do that. I want to empower you by getting these 10 keys, and the first way is to go to free10keysbook.com. You'll be able to download the digital version. If you want to purchase the audio, you can do this, because I like to listen and learn. I have to hear things several times for it to sink in. But this is where you start. Then the 10 keys, there's a processing fee is all there is, but I'll pay for the book. In there is an opportunity to enroll in an online 18-hour masterclass. And this is what over 3,000 business owners shelled out $6,000 to learn over a 3-day period. You can watch this masterclass for pennies on the dollar of what most advisors pay. So invest, engage, search the other 9 keys in this 10 keys series, because this will be your brighter future to 10 times your practice, hopefully in less than 5 years, while simplifying your life.